Management styles is a really big topic and it's really common on the exams. So there's lots to remember. So what we want to do is just look at maybe the types of questions to expect and then how can we summarize all our knowledge for the year. So some possible questions could be identify the management style being used in a case study. Describe, explain or outline the features or characteristics of each style. Discuss, evaluate or analyze whether a particular style is suitable. So they might give you a case study and say, should they use this one? You've got pros and cons and break it apart, overall opinion. And perhaps you need to propose and justify a style that should be used in a particular situation. So to refresh, management styles can be placed along a spectrum, and we try to remember them with the acronym CONDAC. So we said they're different in the way they communicate. Is it one way or two way? What is the orientation? Is it task focused or people focused? How do they motivate? Do they motivate extrinsically with rewards and punishments or intrinsically by trying to get the best out of people? Decision making, is it centralized to the manager or decentralized to the employees? Authority, does the manager not delegate anything or do they delegate in absolutely everything? And lastly, control. Do they maintain total control over all the important tasks or do they give employees autonomy to complete them? And what we were left with was 5 styles: autocratic, persuasive, consultative, participative, and laissez-faire. So what we need to do for each one is just remember that there's a contingency or situational approach. And it says you should change your style based on a few variables, and they are the nature of the task. What is the task involved? How much time's available? How much experience your employees have got, and also your natural preference. Each person sort of has a natural disposition with their personality that suits a particular style. And what we're left with is a really big summary table. So what we want to do is just try and summarize each style in a few words. So autocratic tells people what to do with one-way communication, totally task-focused, extrinsically motivates employees, maintains decision making, does not delegate anything important, and therefore they maintain total control. Persuasive, we can say basically the same, except for one thing. Instead of with this one, people in autocratic, you just tell employees what to do. Here you sell them. So you do tell them what to do, but you give them a reason. You might say why it's in their best interest and how they'll benefit. But the rest remains the same. Consultative and participative are similar. There's just one or two little differences. So consultative is two-way communication. It's a balance of task and people focused and extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. It's the decision making that's centralized. So with this one, you're going to get the feedback from employees, but ultimately the manager still makes the final decision. So we say there's some delegation and some control. That is different to participative. We've got the two-way communication, but we're more people focused and intrinsically motivating people. And the decision's slightly different. So here, the decision making is shared. The manager and the employees make it together. So therefore, it uses quite a bit of delegation and less control. And lastly, you've got laissez-faire, which is two-way communication, completely people focused, intrinsically motivates people by getting the best out of them, and it's totally decentralized. It's hands off. You're delegating the final decision responsibility to the employees. And then we need to know what's good and bad about each one. So we've got advantages of autocratic: quick decisions, good when it's urgent and when goals are your primary concern, but it's negative because it ignores feedback, low employee motivation, and people don't accept decisions when they're just told what to do. So when should you use it? That's an important thing to remember. When your employees and you are unskilled, swift action is required, like an urgent situation or an emergency, or a difficult decision like terminating people. Persuasive is identical basically, except for we sell, so there's a slight advantage there. The disadvantages of when you use it would be the same. Consultative and participative are going to be very similar, so we might look at them together and say, look, you're going to get good decisions, you're going to get much better motivation, and people are going to accept your decisions that they had time or input into. But they are both time consuming. This one here could be low motivation consultative because ultimately the boss still has the final say. You're also going to get conflict between team members. So that means that because everyone has an opinion, that causes conflict sometimes. And when should you use consultative? When employees are experienced or a bit more skilled. They've got valuable insights. All the decisions are a bit more complicated and need more than just the boss's input. And likewise with participative, just a big advantage is not everyone wants to contribute or participate in a team, so it's not suitable for them. So it's really only use it when employees are very experienced or skilled, and also you need a complex or creative decision. You don't want to put limits on people, and that there's sufficient time. Laissez-faire at the end, yeah, look, that the main advantage is it encourages creativity and motivation and innovation, and you get ultimately good decisions. But bad sort of parts of it is you're not giving the team any direction. It's also very time consuming because everyone gets to do their own thing. They're not under the supervision of a central manager. And you could get conflict when everyone has their own opinion. So you really only need to or can use this when employees are really educated and skilled and experienced and that they have the best insights. Like they will come up with the best decision. You just need to be hands off. And therefore, it's really good with complex or creative decisions. So, for example, good one to use in the marketing or advertising industry.